And here we go again. Welcome back to Time Travel Comics. We just browsed through some advertisements about strength, getting stronger, building muscles, impressing the ladies with muscles, and keeping bullies away. These advertisements graced the pages of comic book for years, from the late 50s, 60s, and early 70s, and they were everywhere. And it makes sense because comic books have always included strength and power in their pages. The two go together. Comics and strength make up a lot of the heroes that we know, from Superman to the Incredible Hulk to Spider Man, the X Men, all of which use supernatural power to achieve their goal of thwarting off destruction and evil superpowers. So we're going to look at a show of strength, a show. As I'm looking through my cards here, these are Superman gum cards, and they were back in the days. These are a reprint, but these were nice to show descriptions and information about our heroes and certain cartoon stills, and you can automatically see the strength and the power depicted there. Even as he holds up a mine shaft right in the picture there, Superman is always busy doing what he does, use his superhuman strength. So we're going to use our time tokens here to go ahead and see what we can find. And I'll be using my trusty time tokens here from my coin collection from the 1940s, 1970s, and even the 90s to explore and bring a lot of variety in the comic books. Our time machine has just finished clicking, and we're on to our first show of strength and artwork. And it's actually a page from the comic book Superman number 51 that came out in March of 1948. So this is an early Superman Golden Age artwork here. And it's funny how I acquired this. I was at Chicago Comics, and they had a bin just selling single pages and torn covers, and it was literally $2 right here. And I picked it up because it's a one panel art on one page, and it just shows the strength and power of Superman lifting that megaton office building overhead. And the artwork is done by Curt Swan, who is the penciler. His full name is Douglas Curtis Swan, and he was best known for his Silver Age and Bronze Age Superman. But before that, he also worked on Tommy Tomorrow and Gangbusters before taking on his role as Superman. And he succeeded the Golden Age artist Wayne Boring. And he took over right on this very issue. So this is the first issue that Curt Swan illustrated for Superman. You can see Lois in the building opening the door, kind of watch out, you might fall through, and then the passerbys, and that's right on the corner in the orange suit is Pudge Purdy, who takes over Superman's mind to have him do his dirty work and bidding. A racketeer, gambler, and criminal is telling Superman what to do. So it's just a beautiful tale. You could see the underneath the foundation of the building, the sidewalk, the lamppost on the right side, the name of the building, Monarch State Building, even people inside, just the sheer power and strength that you see here. You'll notice Superman is very clear cut, the jawline, the definition, and just the line work was very simple but very convincing that he was Superman. So we have to thank Curt Swan for his artwork and his career debut with Superman right in here, as this is a page from The Man Who Bossed Superman. We're going to fast forward to February of 1970 into the future, where we find Marvel and their character, the Thing of the Fantastic Four, also showing strength and lifting a very, very heavy building in Fantastic Four number 95. And this is great artwork by Jack Kirby that was inked by Joe Sinnott. And I did a video of Joe Sinnott's artwork and inking in the past, but again, we see that theme of one panel beauty of sheer power and strength as the thing is lifting up that heavy building after the enemy monocles sent a ray blast, knocking the foundation off the hinge. So we can see here the detail, the fire escape, the windows, the people in the street, just like we saw in the last issue from 1948 with Superman. Just the power. The thing just kind of pays almost a homage to that particular scene. Just doing a little side-by-side comparison here. Jack Kirby's work and Curt Swan's work. And there you have it. It's just quite remarkable to see the foundation, the building underneath, the power, the strength, and it just, the panic too, the pandemonium. Just a great show of strength. Marvel and DC side by side. It's interesting to know how much weight can these superheroes actually hold. And they can definitely hold tons. So just a beautiful artwork, beautiful side by side together, one panel beauties on each side. One can't go without showing Steve Ditko and Spider-Man. He too finds himself under a tremendous amount of weight, metaphorically and physically, in this issue of Spider-Man number 33. My copy is a very worn copy, probably a .5 or a 1.0 fair, only because the cover is detached and there's a lot of chips. But nonetheless, it still tells the story. It's a complete book. And I just want to show you the artwork and scenes of Spider-Man lifting this great iron machinery overhead. I always enjoy looking at my Marvel Tales copy as they are easier to handle, and I don't have that fear of hurting the brittle pages of my older copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 33. And in this issue, which is number 26 of Marvel Tales, we see the complete story, panel by panel, is drawn by Steve Ditko. And at the time, Stan Lee didn't mind that Steve took his time in painstaking detail, panel by panel, describing his guilt for having lost his Uncle Ben and his difficulty with saving his Aunt May. So we have an emotional weight that he has to lift, as well as the literal weight of the heavy iron machinery that's on top of him. So as he's contemplating his guilt and how to help Aunt May, and also being underneath and trapped, he finds it upon himself to find the strength to do so. And the genius of Steve Ditko is to take time to make multiple panels to narrate the story one by one, which is unheard of in comic books because usually the editors wanted to keep the action moving. But on this subject alone, you can see so many panels dedicated to the same scene. However, Spider-Man is heavy in thought, and he utters the words, "I can't. I'm so exhausted, I feel weak." And then he finds within himself to be triumphant and to lift the burden on top of him. So just very triumphant, very wonderful to see in art, the struggle, the trouble, and then the lift and the success. And he does it right here in Spider-Man as he moves on. So just wonderful to see that show of strength, not only emotionally, but physically, as Superman and who we saw the Thing and the Fantastic Four have found themselves in a similar predicament. And fast forwarding to the future in Peter Parker's Spider-Man number 87, this is 1998, where we find our hero again under a great burden and weight. And you can see the water dripping down, which is almost synonymous with the previous cover that we saw. And we find our hero again in a similar situation. So the artwork here is done by John Romita Jr., and we can still see that iconic lifting and the strength here as he's underneath what looks to be like a underground shaft with the wood beams falling through. And we find our hero in trouble after the enemy creates the rubble all around him. So just great artwork. You can see Spider-Man acting alone again and in quite a supernatural feat. So even in 1998, kind of fast forwarding from that 1966 debut, we see the artist revisit that theme. And it's fun to see how the artists kind of play on what was done in the past. And in the same year again, in 1998, there was also in Peter Parker number 98, John Romita Jr. Revisited Spider-Man lifting more weight here. Another office building, as we saw before, and just a great display of strength. This time his costume and uniform is torn. He's holding up the support beam so it doesn't fall around his ears. And just amazing artwork, full panel again, dedicated to that whole page. See the details of the foundation, the office building, drawers opening up, the cracks in the side foundation, the smoke and dust clearing. Just a great show of Spider-Man alone doing the impossible. And as we look through, he's still under there and he's still talking about Aunt May having to have surgery soon, just like we saw in the last issue of Amazing Spider-Man, number 33. He just has to find it in himself to do this. And he's holding up the building all by himself. He's pushing with all his might. And finally, he's able to muster up some power to hold everything together. Just like he said, I can't do this. It's just too much. It just echoes what was said before. And then slowly, this time, not in single panels like Steve Ditko, but in more elaborate pictures, he's able to do it, lifting the building. Just great artwork. Just love the pages taken to cover this topic. And just like before, he finds that beam, he pulls it into place, and uses quite a lot of webbing to secure the side of the building. So not only does Spider-Man show all the strength, but his ability with his technology to even hold a whole building up. So if we ever doubted, can Spider-Man do it? It's a resounding yes. So just great work from 1998, Peter Parker, spectacular Spider-Man. And right underneath here, under Megatons, is the Incredible Hulk in Secret Wars number 4. And this is one of the earliest covers that I remember, and I just loved how just the artwork and the heroes were all in this one part of the cover as it stood alone here. And just to see how the Hulk is not happy lifting 50 billions of tons, it stands above him. And he's right underneath there. So all our favorite heroes underneath, you could see Iron Man right there, Captain America, Spider-Man, who's a little bit down for the count there, and the Fantastic Four, and She-Hulk in their debut here in Secret Wars. So this is right in the middle of the storyline. Came out in 1984. And also in this series, there was revealed Spider-Man's secret costume. It's a very famous part of the whole series. But it just wanted to show you that the Hulk, we can't go without talking about the Hulk in terms of strength and power. And just a great cover. The rocks kind of falling and crumbling on the underneath here, and just the texture of the cavernous structures above. 50 billion tons. I think the Hulk has everybody beat on his power of doing that. And I'm going to move this one away to reveal a very famous Steranko cover of the Hulk Annual number 1, king size special. It's a very beat up copy. My copy is pretty worn. I was happy to get it at a convention for under 20 bucks just about 6, 7 years ago before the prices have skyrocketed. And I just love the purple and the green and just the rock formation of the Hulk. So this came before the last one, but you could see rock formations galore and just represents the heaviness that the hero has to overcome. So just a great cover as he battles the Inhumans, his foot leaving cracks and crush marks all over the bottom there. But you could just see the sheer power of the Hulk here. And I just want to conclude the video here with this issue, because as we've talked about the Man of Steel and lifting, and also the Thing and Fantastic Four, we can't go without showing the Hulk. And just a great cover, great color choices. You could see the intensity in his face, the power, the struggle that all our heroes have to go through in order to make humanity a better place. And oftentimes, as we've seen, it's not only physical difficulty, but emotional and cognitive connections as well. So our heroes are not necessarily superficial in their ways with brute strength, but also with what they have to contemplate.